Hey guys, Will Hendrickson here. Welcome to my Uninformed Opinion. I didn't think I was going to have to do a second video about this. I did a little Facebook Live video the other day about the MAGA hat kids. If you're friends with me on Facebook and you haven't seen it, go look it up, where I proved my psychic abilities by predicting what had actually, well, I was real close anyway to what actually happened at the big hubbub the other day with the kids in Washington D.C. and the Native American man and the Indigenous March. And even at that point, I wasn't even aware of the Black Hebrew Israelites being involved at all. That was the only thing that I missed, was who actually started, messing with the kids. But man, I had no idea that this thing was going to blow up like it has, that I was still going to be talking about it today, and that even after the video came out, that the narrative was completely misconstrued, that the kids, I'm sorry, those kids didn't do anything wrong. Anybody that says they did, at this point, you're just trying to save face, and it's ridiculous. It's fucking pathetic. Grow up. Like, accept the fact that you jump to conclusions, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're humans. You see something and you have a reaction, and that's one of our flaws. But the thing is, when you do that and it shows up that that's not right, just back up and say, hey, my bad. I jumped to conclusions, my fault. There's a lot of things that this is brought to light for me, though, beyond just the confrontation itself. Just the absolute lack of integrity of the media, of just people. Again, I've got people today still trying to vilify these kids for some unknown reason, just to not have to say, yeah, my bad, those kids are all right. The only of that whole interaction, the only thing those kids ever got the least bit aggressive about was when the BHI starts yelling stuff about homosexuals. They're like, whoa, bro, that's not cool. Of course they're terrible fucking bigots, though, just because, for no reason. I can't even give you a reason. I can't pick out what they did anymore. Other people say that kid stood there with a smug look on his face. That's your interpretation of it. I don't think that kid felt he was being smug. I think that kid thought he was, trying to be passive. Passive, yes. I don't know, man. It just this whole thing has been absolutely crazy to me, and I'm blown away by the lack of retractions. That nobody's coming out and saying, "Hey guys, my bad." I've heard people say that that's happening. I've just not actually seen it happen. So if somebody wants to put a link to, where somebody's retracted or corrected themselves, that'd be cool. What else? I don't know. Sorry, this was kind of reactional here. I just got up and was scrolling through the news feed and still had, people coming at me about this. So I was like, what the fuck? Like video evidence. You see on tape. I'll just walk through this real quick. This is how this whole thing went down, in case anybody missed it. Kids go to a pro-life march. Pro-life march is over. Pro-life march is irrelevant at this point. That had nothing to do with anything. They're sightseeing. They're meeting up to meet their bus. They're just standing there waiting on the bus. The BHI, Black Hebrew Israelites, start berating them for no reason. Because they're wearing MAGA hats, and I guess because they were white, because they were crackers and everything else. They don't retaliate. Now, back this thing up 20 years. when I was a 16-year-old in high school, and the group of friends that I ran around with, if a random group of people started yelling and calling us faggots and everything else in the world, guarantee we're fighting those guys. Especially if there was that many of us and 4 or 5 of those dudes, it's going to be a bad day for those guys. I don't care if they're adults or whatever. Bad day for you guys. Now, in the midst of that, while that's going on, the kids apparently did ask their teacher if they could sing their school song to drown out, being berated. So I think that's pretty fair. I don't think that's aggression. I don't think that's pretty peaceful. I don't know how anybody could find fault in that. In the midst of that, now the Indigenous Peoples March comes through, and Nathan Phillips. This guy says he was trying to diffuse the situation. If someone could please explain to me how diffusing a situation is, this group is berating this group of kids, so I'm going to walk up to the kids and beat a drum in their face. That doesn't sound like I'm diffusing a situation to me. It sounds to me like I'm joining in with these guys and attacking these kids. I don't know how anybody could interpret that any other way. Now, again, when I was 16 years old man with the drum could have got a little dose of it too. There'd been no problem. He could have got some too. I'd have stepped on his drum. Call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. Because you're old doesn't mean you get to be an asshole. I respect your elders. Yes, that's fine. Respect your elders. But elders are supposed to respect people too. You don't get a free pass to be an asshole because of your anything. Because of you're old, because you're a veteran, because of anything. You don't get a free pass to be an asshole. Sorry. Now, that kid didn't block him. He could have went either way around him. He didn't have to approach him at all. I'm lost. Somebody tell me where these kids were assholes, because they weren't. And now, again, the bigger thing that it's shown me is that no one can just say, yeah, my bad. I was wrong. Those kids are all right. They go back and they find the picture from the basketball game from 2 years. Before I ever saw the picture, I heard there was a picture of them at a basketball game in blackface, taunting an African American player. I said, I guarantee you, I've never even seen the picture. I bet it's their school colors. And I look on the picture, and sure enough, everyone else is wearing black. It's a blackout game or whatever. And it was, not these kids. It was 2 years. Like, what? Where do you think Kentucky is? Even in Kentucky, I know we have a bad name there, but do you think that even 2 years ago, in 2016, someone could really dress up in blackface and go to a basketball game and berate people in blackface, like legit blackface, and that wouldn't have been a topic of discussion 2 years ago? Those kids would have got... Okay, here's a little story. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, some kids at my high school, I wasn't in high school, I was younger, but I know them, not trying to be malicious. They were having a talent show, and one of the things people would always do for the talent shows is they would do like lip syncing to their favorite songs, things like that. The Fat Boys were popular. These kids did the Fat Boys, not maliciously at all. They dressed up in big, sweatsuits and stuffed them, whatever, and they painted their faces black, not thinking it was going to be offensive, but they were sent home for school back in the 80s. They almost got expelled from school in the 80s. Do you think for 1 second that shit would have flying now? Get the fuck over it, dude. Like, everybody needs to chill. Leave these fucking kids alone. Leave each other alone. Just leave each other alone. That's all you got to do. Okay. I think that's the end of my rant for today. Thanks. If you like it, like it. If you share it, share it. If you think I'm an asshole, tell me I'm a fucking asshole. Tell me why I'm an asshole. We'll fight all day. I don't care. I got nothing else to do. Anyway, thanks, guys. Have a good day.